Hey peeps, happy Sagittarius season and happy new moon, also in Sagittarius. And also, it's Saturday, so you know what time it is. It's Cinderella Phenomenon Evermore Day. So, hello everybody. Joining me tonight is of course the lovely Tobias the Tantalus, and we are doing more. We are doing more Cinderella Phenomenon Evermore. So in the last episode we finished Chevalier's route, which honestly I think was the cutest one of the three we've done so far. It's mainly been proposal scenes, but no doubt probably with the next two, which is Fritz and Waltz, they are going to be more on the wedding side of things. So that's going to be pretty interesting. But so far we have not hit the double digits on any one of them, and I just have a feeling maybe we're not going to for the rest of it. But Waltz, I have the highest chance. I think we have the highest chance. Fritz, I'm not sure, but then again, it's been a while since we've done these two, so I don't know how well we did. So this is gonna be pretty fun to see where this goes.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So let's just get into this next ending. So again, huge shout out to Stream AH for giving us this walkthrough to be able to do this playthrough rather smoothly. Because I mean, I could figure it out on my own, but I'm completely clueless.
Well, that's what we tried the first time, right? And
that's what we tried the first time.
That didn't work.
We got the good end, but all right. That's Waltz up there. It's Fritz we're looking for. Yes, there we go. So we got chapter 1, The Knight in No Armor, which is all about him stepping down as the bodyguards for the Knights for the Order of Caldera. So this comes immediately, so we can just read through this part pretty easily, and then we'll just fast forward to the next one.
And that is why, on this day, I am stepping down from my honorable position as commander of Order of Caldera.
Fritz is standing on a small podium erected just outside the front gate, his expression somber as he gazes at the large gathering of knights. He has already given his resignation speech to the majority of the lower-ranking knights. This one is just for ceremony purposes. I stood at the edge of the gate, arms crossed as I watched the proceedings. My heart ought to be filled with hope, but I'm more anxious than I've been in years. I cannot shake the feeling that Fritz is doing this because of me. It has been 2 years since Fitzgerald Aidan Leverton, my personal knight, was promoted to the position of commander. Father bestowed the title and responsibility upon him after seeing how he acted during the crisis of Mother. Fritz possessed the required skill and the ability to lead, even if he did sometimes require my assistance on account of his initial clumsiness. The new responsibilities pulled Fritz away from me. It has been like this for nearly 2 years, even though the two of us see each other when we can. They say distance makes the heart grow fonder, but in this case... I stare hard at Fritz. There is nothing soft about the look on his face.
That is why it is an honor for me to promote Jurian Valiente, my second in command, to head commander. I expect you to treat her with the same respect you have shown me.
Jurian moves forward to stand beside him when he gestures. Sir Fitzgerald? A flicker of a smile passes over Fritz's face.
Sir is a little stiff, don't you think?
I mean, they were colleagues at one point, so yeah. Bit stiff much? Jurian smiles at him. There was a subtle sadness in her eyes, though I cannot imagine why. Well, let's see. She and Garland got let go by his dad while they were working as part of the Order of Caldera. Fritz then rehired them, only for him to step down. So, yeah, why wouldn't it be super complicated for Jurian? The proceedings go on for some time after that. It is only when the ceremony is drawn to a close that I head back to the palace for one of my mandatory lessons. Seems a little quiet. Let me increase the volume just a touch. Alright, that's a little better. Okay. I am relieved my tutor dismisses me early. Maybe now I'll be able to catch Fritz. I'm on my way to the palace gates when I stop, noticing Fritz and Jurian at the end of the corridor. The minute Fritz sees me, his lips pull back into a gentle smile.
Princess, I was wondering when you'd appear.
Good afternoon, Princess Lucette. Good afternoon, Jurian Valiente, Commander of the Order of Caldera. Jurian laughs. It still sounds like such a mouthful.
It's shorter than Lieutenant Commander of the Order of Caldera, at least.
That is true. Although, it is not as short as, like... Oh my gosh, I just forgot his name, but it has been, like, a few years since I watched this drama. There's this lawyer from this TV show called Team Batista no Eiko, and every time he appears at the show, his title just gets progressively longer. Every time. Anybody watch this show, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
No. What was I watching? I think it was Amphibia. In, like, season 2, there was this, like, one captain lady. And, you know, every time she shows up, they just, like, go through all of her titles and, like, accomplishments and everything.
I guess if you want to go for a more modern equivalent, where we've got Daenerys Targaryen with like this huge string of accolades that she's been given, and meanwhile Jon Snow's like just Jon Snow. Oh gosh. That character will come back to me eventually. Shiratori, that's his name. Every time his title gets long. Anyway, a fair point. Back to our regularly scheduled programming. I might as well make that a shirt at this point. If I ever make merch. I hope you know I'll still be asking for your advice every now and then, Fritz. I hope you don't mind.
Of course not. It's the least I can do after putting this responsibility on you so suddenly.
But now, no titles, no obstructions, right? She smiles at the two of us. You two have all the time in the world to spend together. Or a lot more of it in any case. She pauses to look between us. May I ask you something?
First,
being able to be with the princess isn't the only reason you resigned, is it?
makes you think that?
Your dad's loyalty to Hildur and then subsequently running off when he was about to get caught?
What are you talking about? What other motivation could I have?
And also, in turn, because you were like, you're his kin, aka the sins of the father syndrome, he thinks it would be bad PR if he stayed in the position, even though he is different from his dad, so therefore, quietly exit. Yeah, laundry list of reasons why, Jurian.
You can't quietly exit as a main character.
True. Well, before I can react, Fritz wraps her arm around my waist and pulls me closer.
The princess has always been my top priority.
Well, he was her bodyguard at one point, so... Well, the words are accompanied by a mischievous grin. I am equally stunned and embarrassed. I don't remember it taking this long to get to this first decision, to be honest. Jurian stares between the two of us with wide eyes. When Fritz sees her expression, he pulls his arm away with a laugh.
Sorry, princess. Sometimes I just can't help teasing.
His little comments of Fritz's have been more common over the past 2 years. I believe more than anything that he speaks like this more often now because he's more comfortable around me. You two really have changed, haven't you? Both of you. I know that she is right, but she's looking primarily at Fritz when she says it. But was the princess really the only reason, Fritz? The Fritz continues to smile. I can see something twitch in his expression. I have known him long enough to see beyond his confident facade. I can now read Fritz's true emotions from his small gestures. No, it's not the only reason. I think back to the cheering crowds and the agitated townsfolk. I remember the way people protested Fritz's promotion to commander because of his previous involvement with Mother. I can still remember what they called him out in the streets. A wolf wearing a man's skin. A spy. A traitor. Fritz only smiles.
Sure, there are other reasons, but being with the princess has always been the most important. I miss her. I miss being her personal knight.
Jurian eyes him skeptically for a few moments, but in the end, she can only shake her head and smile. I'm glad for the two of you, then. She excuses herself after that, explaining that she has a speech to prepare as the newly promoted commander. The moment she leaves, the corridor becomes quiet. I look up at Fritz, wondering if I ought to apologize for being one of the reasons he had to step down, or should I congratulate him for his new freedom? So now we got to the first decision, which is... which the correct one is congratulate him. I think I apologized the last time, so let's see what the dialogue is here. Yeah, it was apologizing the last time. Anyway, you normally don't congratulate someone resigning, but Fritz claims this is what he wanted. On the other hand, the interesting thing that I kind of notice nowadays is, like, if somebody's doing a resignation, or, well, I mean, kind of funny considering we're putting two people together in this case, but, like, especially in cases of divorce or separation, there's been, like, a congratulation on our new freedom, which is a really interesting take on it. And I think a much healthier one, come to think of it.
As far as resignations, that makes sense. I feel like it's a little weirder when applied to divorce, but I don't know.
Yeah. On the other hand, though, if it was really rough...
Yeah. it depends on a lot of things,
it does.
Honestly. So.
Alright, let's see what else I'm gonna say. New dialogue. So it's congratulations.
Thank you, princess.
With this, you'll have no more obligations to the order. Ah!
No, just to you.
Wow, I did not expect that. He steps forward, and in that brief moment of closeness, leans down to plant a kiss on the top of my head. These public displays of affection have always been taboo. The only time Fritz is ever intimate with me is when we are alone. He grins at me almost mischievously.
Her royal dignified highness is blushing.
God, Fritz is the king of snark. I poke his shoulder. I am not. Fritz only laughs. It is good to see him being less formal. Sometimes when he teases me, I cannot help but remember the other side of him. The masked man with a sly smile. It is a side of him that he hides from most people, but not from me.
Anyway, with this resignation, I finally unleashed myself from the order.
And with that initial speech, I'm kind of seeing why there's a little bit of this dark side, light side play to it, and it's weird, because, like, during the initial playthrough, it was kind of like, but now I actually don't mind it as much. It's really odd. Anyway, there we go. Should I get my mouse to work? On to the next decision. I think it's not that one. Fast forward. There we go. So, the next one is Lucette purchasing a treat, and apparently the correct one is buy him a croissant, which I think was the one I picked. I did pick that one.
Because he likes croissants,
He likes croissants. He likes his tea too, but he's more of a croissant guy. We got that. So, Next. Oh yeah, the hostage situation with all the ex-witches. I remember this one. So apparently this one you were supposed to speak up. I think I read the last one. I think maybe speak up is the correct one. No wait, I did say speak up. Dang, that's 2. Because Lucette will not remain silent. She's not the silent type. Nope. Anyway, next. Okay, this one I actually do remember because we got a cutscene with this part. It was accompanied Fritz to the manor. Yep, got that one. Next one. Oh, the cup shattered. Let me see, context. Oh yeah, I think it was like when he started remembering things about his mom. Yeah, that's right. The dagger. It was just before he introduced that story. The question, the correct answer is offer him the cup of tea because he made a second cup, but he didn't get one for himself. So it's to offer him it instead. We actually said it right. We actually did it right too. Oh my god. That's 4. We're on a really good start with this one, which is surprising. And of course, this one I felt very sure about it, which was teach me how to defend myself because Set, even without a magic, is a fighter. So that's 5 right off the bat. We're doing really well with this one.
And I feel like that's also good to know in general.
Exactly.
Because, like, if you hide and get found out, then that's just the end of that.
Mm-hmm.
You know? But.
Right. Alright, so now we're on to chapter 3 decisions. So let's see. So this one was about face him head on, continue running, or hide. I think we chose hide. We did! That's 6. We're doing so well. Not gonna lie. Okay, let's see. So this was apparently dismissed Fritz's worries. What's the context for this one? Oh yeah, the throne room discussion. I forgot about that. So we're supposed to dismiss his worries. So new dialogue, people. There we go. Anyway. Something in your mind. Oh, no. I was just thinking about the meeting. There must have been a big reason that Fritz has not said anything yet. I should leave it be for now.
Topic today. Was it another meeting about rising crime rates?
More or less.
What was the consensus?
Most everyone suggested an increase in security. Many of the counselors suggested having the nights more extended hours. Fritz furrows his eyebrows and disgruntled. Yeah, I don't blame him. I vetoed the idea. If we wanted to make that work, we would have to increase the number of nights we send out. Not the hours we make them work.
No offense, but these rich men know nothing about how difficult a night's job is.
Yeah, pretty difficult. And also, for some reason, the music volume is like, we can say just a touch. Okay. But yeah, I mean, obviously, you do not know like how much manpower that kind of takes. I am no knight, but I know how hard Fritz and Jurian work. They do not. Father agreed with me on the matter. He also insisted that Jurian be there to provide her an expert opinion.
Like father, like.
He stops suddenly and shakes his head. Oh!
Ouch! Oh
You hit a sore spot for yourself, Fritz. I'm so sorry. Dang.
no. Never mind. I'm sure His Majesty was glad to have you there to echo his opinions.
Yes, but it took a while to convince the counselors. That's the reason the meeting went on for so long.
Well, at least it's over now.
Yep. He squeezes my hand and smiles as we head out towards the gates into the town. And with that, we get into the next decision. But man! Oh! New dialogue, people! Context. Hold on. Okay. Oh, tea conversation. I think it's about what happened in the throne room, at least, or at least what they were. Maybe what her dad was said to him. Who knows?
You always speak to me about your concerns, so it's only right that I tell you mine. Though, if I'm being honest, my concerns seem a little petty by comparison.
Fritz, let me tell you, it's not the Olympics. Whatever concerns significant to you, it's significant to you. Full stop. Petty? I am skeptically. I know you and your problems are never petty, Fritz. So please, talk to me. You know you can tell me anything.
Thank you, Lisette.
And... Dang, what was it again? I can't remember now. Just for a little bit of context. Let's see. I'm gonna fast forward a little. Oh, because of what happened with his dad, right. That's why, like, and then like all that training. It's like Shang-Chi, but with the wolf. Okay, let's see.
Yeah, now he's talking about Varg, and it's like, how did you feel about Varg?
Like, did you ever care about him? The way he cared about me? And then Lucette's, like, internal conflict about, like, not wanting Varg to exist, but at the same time, Varg to exist because it would take away Fritz, but on the other hand, Varg, in a way, was kind of part of Fritz in the first place. So... here's the big question. What answer was it? She actually liked him! Okay. I think I said that we only ever loved you, so... I don't remember this part too well, honestly, but let's see what we said. Yeah, we only ever loved him. We loved him, surprisingly. New dialogue, friends! Fritz looks at me in surprise.
But you always said...
I put my fingers to his lips. I did not love Varg for himself, but because he was a part of you. Fritz stares at me, obviously puzzled. I remember that when Mithros told me that Varg was slowly taking over your mind. I remember how terrified I was. Do you know why? Fritz says nothing, only looks at me mournfully. Because even though Varg was a part of you, I did not want him to take over your conscience. When Varg disappeared, I knew he would go back to you. But if you had disappeared, Fritz, Varg would have only ever been a distorted fraction of what you were. He was never meant to exist on his own. But still, Varg was a part of you, and I loved him for that. Fritz's expression crumbles as he pulls away from me. That was basically it. I just couldn't phrase it right.
Yeah, it's like, you have to accept people's, faults along with, all the good things.
Yep. Flaws and all. It's not an easy thing to do.
That's it.
Though I know you are far more complex than just single facade, I accept a part of you. That's why you asked, isn't it? Fritz smiles at me. It is half-hearted, but still better than its earlier hesitance. This is why we talk things out, my friends. We all got healing of some sort to do.
And if you can't do it with those closest to you, then who can you do it with?
Yep. Oh.
Thank you, Lisette.
He slides off the couch and turns to face me.
I apologize for going off on a tangent.
No apology necessary. It was not a tangent. But also apparently, it's not been adequately explored for quite some time. Hopefully we get some more exploration in the next decision. Okay. Oof, this one was the hard one. Because I chose to have it, but apparently you're supposed to follow through the letter of the law, no matter what it says. So we have to sentence them to 30 years, much as I don't want to.
The more I thought about it afterward, I was like, you know what? That was probably the better decision.
Yeah, because like everybody's equal, even the ex-witches. Yeah, it makes sense. As you are equal to every citizen in the kingdom, I will not shorten or lengthen your sentence. You will receive the standard punishment. I am confident in this decision. I could have chosen to lengthen their sentence, but to do so would only garner more hostility. I do not want to rule with fear. I want to rule with fairness. Out of the corner of my eyes, I can see Father smiling at me. The smile does not reach his eyes, but the look fills him with relief regardless.
Be thankful the Crown Princess did not extend your sentence. Even if it was committed in desperation, your crime is still malicious.
Yeah, think about it now too, it makes sense. Yeah, I did the halving initially because I didn't want the cruelty to like go to the former witches any more than it already has. But on the other hand, though, they are ultimately now non-magical citizens, so it makes more sense to just keep it all the same.
Thank you, Your Highness.
I notice the man is bowing to me. The woman does the same. Eventually, the two of them are led from the room. I glance at Fritz, who flashes a subtle smile in my direction when he catches my eye. But yeah, that's not an easy decision to make. Like, even though like it was between shortening and keeping it standard, that still wasn't an easy one. So
this is why I will never rule a country.
I mean, well, like Angela Merkel, she's been chancellor for like 16 years, which I can't fathom that, and yet she has been on point with the job. Like, she maintained a 70% approval rating, which is honestly really astounding. But it just goes to show like how much she did her job well.
Like, even when you make the hard decisions, when people are like, you know what? Yeah, that's a good call.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Alright. So, new dialogue! Okay. Yeah, because of all the former witch human divide. Because there is that thing to deal with. And remembering it's not just us to solve the problem. Fritz nods in agreement. Even Jurian quirks her lips when it glances in her direction. I know. Jurian and the knights are soon excused from the throne room. I'm about to exit with Fritz when Father calls to us. Oh, here we go!
Something to discuss with Lord Fitzgerald. It shouldn't take long.
You know what would be really interesting is if we got like games from like each of the male interests perspectives, like how they got cursed, how they got like what got them into their relationships with Lucette. I mean, we got it from Lusette's point of view, but not their point of view. It would be kind of interesting to explore that. And what the discussions were behind the scenes, more importantly, because I would love to see that. That and also a prequel game with Parfait, Delora, and Hilder. I'm still requesting that. Fritz smiles.
I'll be waiting for you at the usual place, you said. Oh, and...
He places a hand on my shoulder and squeezes.
I'm relieved you didn't shorten their time, Lucette.
Oh, yeah! Because he had quite a bit to say about the shortening. I look at Fritz in surprise. Why would I have shown them any favor? I kind of explained that earlier, but anyway.
I thought maybe you would shorten their sentences because you wanted to curry favor with the witches. I'm glad you didn't.
I thought Fritz was the most soft-hearted person I knew. Yet, in the light of recent confessions he's made, I'm beginning to see he's a lot more complex than that. But still, why does he care so much? And if I had? Fritz looks away, a forlorn look in his eyes.
It would have been like what happened with my mother.
Oh yeah, because like there was a witch that killed his mother, but then because they couldn't get enough evidence, they basically let him go. So, oh yeah. I almost forgot about that small detail. But in that case, they couldn't catch the person, whereas here, they did. But I can see why you would see that the same way.
Still, injustice.
Yeah. Yeah, I can totally see that. What? He shakes his head.
I'll tell you about it some other time. The short story is that when the criminal who killed her was tried, the verdict was flawed.
Oh, I totally forgot about that detail. Flawed. Oh yeah, because like he was let off as innocent. I think he wasn't imprisoned at all. I remember that now. Yeah, that's right. Because I thought it was not enough evidence. Whereas with this one there was plenty. Albeit she survived and was able to talk them down from doing something bad, but still. This is not an easy decision to make, I will say this much.
No.
Because, I mean, on the one hand, kidnapping is kidnapping, but on the other hand, they actually had remorse after that. But it's like, it didn't matter. It's like, let the punishment fit the crime.
Yeah.
This is why I'm glad I did not become a judge.
This is why I've never had any interest in being a judge. Not to say anything against those who do decide that. You are doing a great job.
Yeah.
And thank you very much. It's just not for me personally.
Yeah. Thankfully, it took mock trial for me to figure that out.
Anyway, I have something to discuss with His Majesty.
He steps away and turns his attention back to my father. I glance curiously between my father and Fritz, but neither reveals the topic of their conversation. And I think it's where they recommended the ball, and so we get to the next chapter, we get to the next pages, and then next decision. Oh, new dialogue, context, time. Oh yeah, the masquerade ball. Varg, Fritz. Their personalities were like night and day, and yet they are the same person. That is why, even if Varg was someone overwhelming, I loved him regardless. How could I not when he was a part of Fritz? Besides, Varg did a great many things for me back then too. Whether of his volition or not, he was still my knight. That's true, come to think of it. Like, he didn't do anything to Lucette. Like, he still did pretty good guard duty. Even under the influence of the curse. Except, instead of shining armor, he wore a masquerade mask and an ominous-looking cloak. Leave it to Emily to kind of get us out of her own head.
You okay? You're kind of spacing out there.
Just spacing out there. Gotta pick things with the ball. And maybe try to sneak some chatting time with Prince Lance. Moving on. Oh, more dialogue. Dang, how much did we miss? Like, we got the first half good, but then like we been missing like the second half. Like, it's like the writing process. We get a good start, from the middle part, we don't know what in the world we're doing, and then the end, it all makes sense. Now we just need to fill in the middle.
And this was the last time we were discussing, like, the sentence verdict.
Yes! Yes!
So since we made the different decision, now there's going to be new dialogue.
That's true! Yeah, and then she also, like, Fritz designed a mask for Lucette. Like, he's, like, finding, like, a new craft outside of, like, night stuff that, like, he's been kind of going through. And I guess, like, the masquerade in a way is kind of like his, acting therapy, which actually is a thing. Okay, before we head out to our practice, oh yeah, the dagger practice, they've been doing that too.
You remember earlier in the throne room, I mentioned a trial?
That was for his mom's kill, I remember that. A trial that involved his mother. Yes, I remember. You said you would tell me more after the incident when you were feeling up to it. If anybody needs a drink or a cup of tea or popcorn or something, now's the time to get it. Because I have a feeling this is going to be pretty dramatic.
Oh.
He looks at me a little uncertainly.
I've been thinking about it since this morning. So I'd like to share the story with you now, if you don't mind. I'm afraid it's a very dreary tale, though.
That's what I figured. Here we go. You know, I'm used to these sorts of stories by now, Fritz. I mean, obviously between, like, well, what happened with the witches during Hilder's time, and then what's happened with the witches now that even with no powers whatsoever. Yeah, she knows. 2 years ago, my life was a nightmare. But Fritz shouldered his miseries with me. He tried to protect me from them. The least I can do is to try and understand his own sadness. I will listen regardless, Fritz, so please tell me. What happened? Oh, I don't remember this part too well, but I know it's not that different. Let's see. It was okay. Right, the language teacher thing. She met up with the client. Wasn't the client? Met with the client. Basically everything just went wrong. And then
he saw the murderer escape, but there wasn't any evidence. So they just let him go.
Yeah.
Like, no.
And then, like, his dad basically became a vigilante. But that also was basically, even though he did get the justice that he didn't get in court, it also was the thing that ultimately changed him from the kind-hearted person to one who sided with Hilder, who was 10 times worse than the nobleman that he killed. Big question again is, he still asks the same question, like the verdict. Would he have done different? Like, would Lucette have done differently from the king years earlier with the nobleman? Would she have been so lenient? And apparently the correct answer is yes, which I did not realize. I think I said no. I don't remember anymore, but let's see what we said. It was a yes! Because it was, that's right, because ultimately it was all about evidence. Because ultimately, it's equal trial. Because it's all about procedure.
Yeah.
Because unless you have solid evidence, you can't, like, put somebody behind bars. So this is, like, one of the biggest exceptions, I think, where... Well, not really an exception, but, like, this is one of the big times where, in this case, the lack of evidence did not put somebody who actually did need to put behind bars, but there have been a lot more cases where innocent people have been put behind bars by chance because of exactly because of the same lack of evidence. So all the more reason why procedures are here.
Yeah, it's like we feel bad that you saw, the murderer get away, and then you also saw them, not get convicted. But on the other hand, if we accepted that, then it would be just as easy for someone else to wander in and say, this guy killed my mother, and if there isn't evidence to back it up, you can't convict them on that,
Yeah. I know because there's an abundance of miscarriage of justice. It's a tricky thing to go along with. So I totally get it. It's not an easy thing.
Not at all.
Not at all. But oh yeah, so this is the Bard role playing, and turning out playing along was actually the thing we were supposed to do. So we did that part correctly. No wolf puns. Okay, so the next one, I think I said, I looked at you again because the last time I said that, it was like I searched for my family just to see what the Brigantian masks look like, but we ended up not seeing them anyway, so let's see what dancing with him again is going to be like.
Oh? I didn't think you enjoyed dancing so much.
Well, she's had a very good teacher. Anyway, I care more about your company than a dance.
What if I was clumsy company, always stepping on your feet?
I just remembered I have a mask on my shelf, but I did not think of pulling it out. Well, I guess this will have to do. Hold on. There we go. Fritz is a surprisingly good dancer
beautiful.
for someone so clumsy. But even then. But yeah, during this time of year, forget the tiaras. This is where it's at. If you step on my feet, then I shall just step on yours.
Oops, clumsy me.
Oops.
I wouldn't mind that so terribly. In fact, I think I'd enjoy that immensely. I'm not sure how to take that statement.
Fritz pulls me toward him, setting one hand gently on my back while he grasps the other. He pulls me against his chest. This is not dancing.
No idea what you're talking about, Ice Princess.
My whole body is warm, radiating with the heat of the skin on my own. I noticed at the start, the music playing and the background has become even softer. Without even realizing, my own footsteps have become so slow to match the rhythm of the music. Fritz moves just as smoothly, every one of his footsteps perfectly echoing mine. He never steps on my feet. I can feel his breath on my neck as he leans down to speak to me.
If this isn't dancing, what would you call it?
A breach of personal space.
Zing.
I'm sorry, I'm still recovering from that. That was too good.
And what's the problem?
We're in public. Oh yeah! I haven't gotten the seal of approval yet. Oh my god!
You're more than welcome to step away whenever you want. Thought so.
Because I didn't get the context in the very beginning about like how any more one-on-one contact was taboo. Oh my god! Wow. What Fritz is doing is really bold. He puts a kiss beneath my ear before pulling away. Two of us continued to dance without caring who sees us. When the song eventually ends, there's something more jovial. Fritz pulls away from me and raises an eyebrow. Yeah. So that was it. That was interesting. Wow. And then this is the one about the next one's about that chase scene with the knight. Because he was kidnapping the whatchamacallit,
the noble lady, right?
Yeah, the lady from Brigantia, that Duchess from Brigantia. I think we intercepted this time? Because we have the dagger experience now. We didn't intercept, we called for help. Anyway, I steel myself, trying not to imagine the panic that would be in Fritz's eyes if he knew what I was about to do. Then again, it's Lucette. She is brave whether she has powers or not. AKA Wonder Woman. My father wouldn't simply call for help. He would do something. I've not learned how to defend myself so I can just flee. I put on a burst of speed and rushed across the courtyard. Normally I would not be able to catch up to the captor, but the struggling woman in his arms slows him down, and less time than I anticipate, I am standing in front of him. Oh!
Out of the way, girl!
I pluck the mask from my face. The knight pales. I do not know who you are or what you hope to accomplish, but you will let this woman go immediately. I try to flinch when the knight laughs.
The fallen witch's daughter. I would have been scared of you before, princess, but now you're just as powerless as the damsel in my arms.
Except there's one thing you do not know. She has a knife!
You can't use magic anymore, right?
Correct, but she also has a knife. And, if anything, it makes me just like you.
You just could never be like us.
What has this woman done to you?
What has she done? During the war, witches burned our homes and slaughtered us in the streets. Then, magic up and disappears, and suddenly they think like they can act like us? That they can simply be forgiven of their crimes and go on living as innocents?
My hand's grip on the woman tightens. I can see tears in her eyes.
Equality? Don't make me laugh. We will never be the same.
I see. The knife unsheathes the sword and holds it to the woman's throat.
If you value the hostage's life, you'll back away slowly.
For just a few moments, I falter. Memories of my own capture replay in my mind, and I'm capable of movement. I force myself to brush them aside. 2 years ago, people died because of my bad decisions. What kind of a queen will I be if I keep putting others in danger? I take a few steps back, and as I do so, I reach into my pocket for Fritz's knife. I send out a silent apology to Fritz, hoping he'll forgive my brazenness. Then just as the knight lowers the sword, I lunge forward with the knife. Oh, boy. The movement startles him, and he steps back in alarm. I slice the dagger through his hand. Dang! Whoa! His grip on the witch loosens, and she uses the opening to rush behind me. She shoves something into my hands in passing. It's the last mist potion I have. The knight approaches, sword withdrawn. I have no time to think. I can't take the man on my own. I throw the glass potion to the floor. It shatters, and the knife disappears behind a curtain of mist. I can still hear him approaching, though, and knowing I'm no match for him in a one-on-one fight, I grab the witch's hand and flee with her through the mist. I soften my footsteps as we move. Thankfully, the witch makes my stealth, and the two of us reach the end of the corridor quietly. Your Highness, you... I clamp a hand over her mouth, but too late. Oh no! The knight had been wandering silently through the mist, turns his sword in our direction and lunges. I just barely managed to pull the witch out of the way in time. When the knight turns toward us again, I know I'm outmatched. I have been practicing, but I do not have enough practice to face a skilled swordsman. Still, I refuse to be bested. I did the last thing I could think to do. I throw the dagger! My aim is off, and it glances off the knight's wrist rather than hitting him in the chest, but it is enough. It startles him, and I use the extra time to make my escape with the witch. A word comes unbidden to my lips as we run. Adiuva! I turn the bend of the corridor.
Set!
I run right into Fritz, who somehow manages to remain standing upright.
What?
He freezes at the sound of incoming footsteps. He sees me standing with the quivering witch and seems to piece together what is happening. He takes out a sword and turns to the knight as he approaches. The knight falters, but before he can escape, Fritz surges forward quick as lightning. His sword rings like thunder against the knight's. Lower your sword! Jurian approaches from the opposite end of the corridor, sword raised. A group of knights trail her. The other criminal is sandwiched between them, hands bound. I totally forgot there was more than one.
Yeah.
And then again, it's a Knight B. Of course there'll be more than one. The captor facing Fritz has no choice but to lower his sword. With one last scathing look at the witch, he drops his sword and raises his hands. It is only after he has been captured that I allow myself to breathe. Ooh, dang! So much has happened! I think I actually almost picked that one. I wish I did, but I'm glad we're doing it now. Because that was an interesting one.
Another one of those where you think back on it, you're like, no, yeah, that was the right decision.
Yeah, that made more sense. Oh, new dialogue. The minute the king is notified of the incident, the masquerade is cancelled, and the throne room is cleared out. And that is what I witnessed. I finished describing the situation to the king as concisely as I can. Oh yeah, because we didn't sit there, we didn't call for help. This went in a completely different direction, so she described things differently compared to the first time. When I'm done describing everything that I've witnessed, I stand silently and wait for the king's verdict. The two kidnappers are prostrated on the ground behind me, surrounded by a tight circle of knights. Fritz and Jurian are there as well. I can feel Fritz's gaze on my back and have to resist the urge to look back at him.
So this was another hate crime against witches.
Yep! Your Majesty, if I may interrupt.
Speak, Jurian.
We discovered this is not the criminal's first offense. They are also behind some of the recent witch hate crimes happening in town. Jurian shoots the two knights in a severe glare. I hold myself responsible for not having found out about their crimes earlier. You have my deepest apologies, Your Majesty.
Your apologies are unwarranted, Jurian. I am just as surprised as you to see this hatred even within our ranks.
Yeah, you never know it's gonna be one of yours and two. He turns again to the knight's expression stoic.
Personally invited Lady Celeste to this ball. She is a busy woman, a countess from Brigantia who deserves our utmost respect.
A countess? Father invited a countess from Brigantia without me knowing?
I invited her here to act as a spokesperson for witches, and she graciously agreed.
He frowns.
I do not know what you intend to do with her now, but know this. You will be tried for all of your crimes. I will not abide prejudice in this kingdom.
Yep. With that, the two men are taken from the room. The sentence is all but set, but they will nonetheless get a trial for the sake of fairness. Jurian herself leads them out. Woo! Let's see if there's new dialogue. If not, we're probably at the next decision. Oh, new dialogue. Yep, knew it. So, It was surprising. I could have just continued as is, actually, come to think of it. But anyway, it was a surprise that it was a Brigantian countess, and Claude was supposed to introduce them, but obviously didn't happen. But yeah, basically, confidentiality/surprises are probably not the best move right now, especially with the way X-Witch sentiments is happening right now. My father turns to me, expression somber.
You put yourself in danger rescuing her, Lucette.
I could not sit back while she was in danger.
We have knights so that we may rely on them.
Be that as it may, there was no one there to rely on in the moment.
Lucette. In the end, what you did was very heroic. You've won the Countess's favor, and in doing so, have redeemed Angielle in her eyes.
Dang, they looked that bad before? Wow. Again, this is why we need another game to cover this. This is so interesting.
You were brave, Lucette. Very brave, as a ruler must be.
And exactly why she did it. Yes. My heart eases somewhat at the words.
I'd like to speak to the Countess now, but I would hear your testimony tomorrow, Fritz. Of course, Your Majesty.
And with that, now I think we go to the next decision. Yes, we go to the next decision. And what's the new dialogue in between? Yep, new dialogue. Okay, context. Alright, everybody was excused. Still reeling about the fact that she saved a countess from Brigantia. And yeah, pretty long night. Fritz shovels silently in place. He is fidgety enough I know that there's something on his mind. Just say it. Disappointed that I put myself in danger, aren't you?
Disappointed? Who said I could never be disappointed? Terrified for you, yes, but disappointed? How could I be disappointed when you saved an innocent woman?
That is true. I mean, she didn't get hurt or anything.
This whole time you've been training to protect yourself, but you ended up using the skills I taught you to save someone else.
That's exactly why we have them. Yes. He crouches down so that we are eye to eye. Much to my relief, a soft smile graces his face.
You knew when to attack, when to defend, and when to run.
Yep. It's like serenity. Accepting the things none of the things you can change, except the things that you can't, and having the wisdom to know the difference. It was too perfect of a trinity here. I had to put it in. Anyway, I sighed. Some of it was luck. Who knows what would have happened if at least Celeste not had that extra mist potion.
And that's the part that terrifies me. But while I want to protect you from everything, I would be doing you a disservice by not believing in you.
And that's your Saturday morning cartoon moral of the day, my friends.
I've said this before, Lucette, but you're the strongest woman I know.
Yes, she is.
And this proves it more than anything else.
Yeah! You're a lot calmer about this than I thought you would be. Yeah, I'm surprised too, Lucette. Me too. Fritz shakes his head. His eyes are filled with mirth.
Like I said, it's impossible to be disappointed in you. And you used the knife.
And I mean, I think it's also kind of a way a little bit of catharsis for Fritz too, because that was the one thing that his mom couldn't do. Well, probably wanted to, but couldn't do because she left it behind. She thought she didn't need it. And meanwhile, this is a time where she needed it the most, where Lucette needed it the most, and she did it, and then one-upped it by protecting somebody else. It all comes full circle here. Instinctively, my hand goes to my pocket, but the knife is not there. I was just thinking that. I think it's still stuck on the column. Oh, no. I threw it at the knife, but then forgot to retrieve it.
Hey.
Fritz holds out his arm, and with the flick of his wrist, the knife flashes out from his sleeve. He He hands it to me with a flourish.
I saw it in the corridor and thought you might have dropped it. Didn't realize you were hiding it in your dress.
Where else would we hide it? Like, you think like you think like everybody does the God Killer challenge? Not all dresses can do that. And look good while doing it. This is, yeah, like, Lucettes' dress, it's pretty, not a God Killer dress. And yes, I did do the God Killer challenge back when it was popular. It is possible. They gave it to me as a gift, and it's a good means of protection. It would be foolish of me not to carry it. I think pretty soon the next decision might be happening, so we could just try and read it out as is, see what happens. I look down at the knife, thoughtful. After a few moments, Fritz wraps his hands around mine.
What you did today was amazing, Lucette. But please, promise me you'll always prioritize your own safety. Angiel can't lose his future queen.
Well, I mean, they're gonna have a second future king with Rod, but yeah, that's true. The spark dies in his eyes as he speaks and his shoulders sag.
And I can't lose you. You mean the world to me, Lucette. You're the one that keeps me rooted, that keeps me sane. You're my dream for the future.
Aww. His eyes are on the dagger as he speaks. I wonder vaguely if he's thinking about his mother and what happened to Alcaster after her death. I need to comfort him somehow, but how? We talk about the future, that's how, and I think we said that. Yep, we did! We talked about the future! So, that was the last decision. So now we get to go to the happy ending that is Chapter 6. Which, unfortunately, I do not know the name of exactly. But we clearly fast-forwarded through something significant. But anyway, the corridor is quiet at this time of night. The only sounds the footsteps of the patrolling guards. I'm on my way back to my bedroom after an exhausting day of meetings, speeches, and conferences. I'm always out late these days, a result of my many meetings with the counselors, the village representatives, and, well, everyone else. If Fritz is taken to sitting beside me at those meetings as a show of goodwill, he is absent more often than not, busy doing volunteer work around Angiel and assisting others with construction work and errands. Volunteer work is his personal way of showing commitment to the people of Angiel. It was one of his most important goals in his to-do list for the future. There is one thing on his list, however, that is reserved just for me. We usually save that activity for our nightly get-togethers, but tonight is different. Fritz told me earlier that he had something special he wanted to show me. Father was nice enough to let me excuse myself early. Proposal? I'm guessing proposal, because we've had 3 so far. I stop in front of my door with a smile. I'm glad Father approves of Fritz enough to help me carve out time for him. When I come into the bedroom, the first thing I notice is Fritz sitting by my window, a book in one hand and a handful of chocolates in the other. I eye the glass jar beside him, which is conspicuously only half full, as opposed to half empty. Anyway, a week ago, I started filling it with chocolate because I know Fritz has a sweet tooth, but I did not think I was going to have to refill it every day. Fritz looks up abruptly.
Oh, Lucette.
He suddenly tries to drop the handful of chocolates back into the glass jar. Yeah, you sneaky man, I know what you're doing.
Bonum Vesper.
Oh, we're learning languages now. I blank for a few moments as I try to recall the meaning of the words. Even I'm blanking a little, but I know it's Latin related.
Bonum sounds like good, and Vesper is, I don't know, like a mist or a ghost or something.
Or good sight. I know what, I mean, I'm trying to remember considering the name Vesper Lind, but Vesper, what is Vesper?
Is it just like good evening?
Yeah,
maybe?
It's basically good evening. Yeah, archaic evening. It can also mean evening prayer. Vesper, literary, as in Venus, the evening star. From Latin Vesper. Okay. So, yeah. Basically, it's Latin for good evening. Bonum
That's
Vesper?
art.
Fritz moves to sit on my bed and pass the space beside him.
Good evening. Do you remember what salve means?
Yes, I do. It actually means hello. Or salutations. Yep, that one is easy. It means hello. Yay, my Latin is coming back. And I have a Latin dictionary in my on my shelf.
Yeah, I think I have a little one behind me. I'm not using it, I promise.
I'm not using it either.
That's right. And carpe diem?
Seize the day! Favorite one.
Everybody knows that one.
Yeah, favorite phrase. That one is an expression that means... I sigh as I pop down the bed beside him and rest my head on his shoulder. How nice of you to quiz me now when I can barely think straight.
They say the best way to remember language is to keep repeating the words.
That is true. I also just got a reminder on my phone to practice my Japanese, so kind of follow his advice after this. That is not how Adiuva stuck in my mind.
That word was a special case.
That's true. 2 years ago, Fritz taught me that word so I would have a special way to call him to my side. Back then, I had no idea he read languages to be close to his mother. I had no idea he was trying to keep me close by teaching me that word too. But now, I smile. It has been a few months since Fritz suggested we learn this language together. He wanted to do something special with me. Because he enjoyed languages so much, he suggested learning the foreign language he had been studying before. I'm glad this is something that the two of us could do together. Because really, if I could, I would do everything with Fritz. We both promised each other that we would do just that 2 years ago. And though the years pulled us apart, we have since been able to reconnect. He has been so much happier recently. We both have. Today has been a long day, so how about we only review a few phrases before we do what it is you wanted to do tonight? I glanced at the book, expecting to be open to the page we stopped on, but instead, I was surprised to see an envelope tucked between the pages. What's this? Fritz sighs.
The king personally delivered it to me earlier.
Ooh, I wonder what this is. I pulled the envelope out from between the pages and turned it over in my hands. It is addressed to Fritz and is from an unknown address. Who wrote it? Is it his dad? Fritz takes the envelope from my hands, opens it, and pulls the letter inside. He begins to read it aloud. Because if there's no address, there's nothing in there, it's gotta be his dad. Because who else could it be? I knew it! I called it!
To Fritz, my son.
Oh. I called it. I knew eventually we were going to hear from him.
It's a loose end. You can't just leave it as a loose end, like especially in the best ending.
It's a huge one. I nearly slapped the letter out of Fritz's hands, but managed to restrain myself. The letter is sure enough from his banished father, Alcaster. It is a letter filled with apologies, though I doubt the sincerity of the words. At the end of the letter is a request to read Brigantia. What are you going to do? I want to keep Fritz here. I want to force him to burn the letter so I do not have to worry about Alcaster scheming again. So that I do not have to worry about him using Fritz to get what he wants. But this is Fritz's decision to make. This is his life. He must do what feels is right.
I think I'm going to go see him.
Well, I mean, is this a better situation to see him as any, considering there are no magical influences anymore? Fritz pulls me closer and plants a kiss on the top of my head.
Don't look so glumly said. You remember what I said about my mother?
That you received no closure with her? Fritz nods.
I don't want that to be what happens between my father and I.
That's true. I mean, there is a way to achieve closure without him, and in some cases that So he says, like, you're never going to receive closure, but hey, if you got the chance and you think you can do it, go ham.
I'm not his shadow anymore. I'm my own person. I'm strong enough to face him, and I want to face him. I want to show him that I'm not like him.
The words ease something in me, and I sigh without realizing. Fritz smiles.
Will you come with me?
Oh, I knew he was gonna ask! Of course. I would personally strangle a caster who says the wrong thing. Correct answer.
Who's bodyguard now?
If you stand behind me, sir.
That's my ice princess. Perfectly regal and perfectly terrifying.
You know where she gets it from, right? He laughs when I nudge him.
Anyway, let's put aside the specifics of that meeting until later.
He slides the letter out of the book and sets it on my bedside table. The motion makes my heart swell with pride. Fritz has come such a long way. I've been so proud of him.
So, getting back to our lesson.
Are we gonna get a proposal now in Latin?
Here. Tell me what this phrase means. Amor vincit omnia.
I love all of you? You told me that one before.
I know, we got this one last time without the love conquers all.
Yes! Yes, that's what it was. Love conquers all. Yes, I remember now. I flick his forehead. You really are forgetful.
Sorry, wasn't sure about that one because I haven't heard it. Never heard it in one of your speeches yet.
She just speaks in Latin? He grins at me and I blush. 2 months ago, when the two of us started learning the language together, I gave a speech to the townspeople about bridging the divide between witches and humans. Back then, I used one of the foreign words Fritz taught me, carpe diem. He was proud that I'd used it, but he hasn't stopped teasing me about it since it happened. That was months ago.
I've been waiting impatiently for an encore ever since.
I reached forward to snap the book shut, cheeks still warm. I think that's enough for tonight.
But I haven't even taught you anything.
You got me here early because you said something you had something to show me, correct? Now is the proposal time? I'm sorry, we've seen 3 of them. It's gotta be number 4 at some point. I stand and have the hand on my hip. Oh yeah, I think the reason why we saw a wedding with Walt is because the proposal technically happened during Lucette's coronation, so that's why we didn't see it with him compared to everybody else. So I just remembered that. Anyway, Fritz looks at me for a few moments, thoughtful. It may just be my imagination, but his expression seems terse, if not anxious. Fritz? After a few moments, the anxiety fades, replaced with a soft glimmer of confidence.
Yeah.
What? He laughs.
To take you to that place I want you to see.
Is it that forest area? Because I've seen it so many times. He stands up and takes my hand.
It's a surprise, so I'm going to blindfold you at some point. Are you okay with that?
Yay, consent! You asked me after you already planned this out?
You trust me, don't you?
With my life.
Then there won't be any problems.
He squeezes my hand as the 2 of us head out into the corridor. Yep, forest area. I am surprised when Fritz bypasses all the palace corridors, leads me through the quiet street into town, and then all the way to the forest. We're only just at the outskirts when he holds out a blindfold to me. Do you not think anyone in the palace will worry about us? Fritz's smile never falters.
I don't.
Maybe you already spoke to them about this? I relax as Fritz ties the blindfold around my eyes. For a few moments, there was nothing but the warmth of his chest against my back, and the feeling of his fingers ghosting over my arms. He leans forward to plant a kiss with the nape of my neck, then grabs my hand. He begins to lead me forward, walking more slowly so I can keep up. Is this really necessary?
Absolutely.
I can hear the smile in his words. I remember 2 years ago, it took me a long time to trust Fritz. So long, in fact, that I feared that I would never trust him again. Yet, here we are. I hold tightly to Fritz's hand as he leads me down the forest paths. On the occasion we run into an obstacle, Fritz pauses to move it out of the way or to help me duck under some branches. Are we almost there?
Is that also Latin? Is that mean here or soon?
I think it is Latin. I think it's Fere. I don't know what it means. Maybe it might mean soon. What does that mean?
Almost.
Okay. Close enough.
Look at all the words we're learning.
Look at all the words we're learning. Can we do more visual novels where we learn words? Through stories like these, we would learn so much faster. But again, and we already do that. With Japanese, it's anime. With everybody else, it's like dramas or telenovelas or whatever that kind of stuff is. So, but can we do more of that?
I need to find something in Gaelic.
Ooh.
Anyway.
We're gonna like
that's the language I want to learn, honestly.
Irish Gaelic or Scottish Gaelic?
I'm honestly not sure. I think I'm leaning towards Scottish, but
yeah, I'd be curious about that too. His fingers tightened around mine. For a few moments, I think I could feel his hand quivering in mine, but it is probably just my imagination. Running away with me.
Come with me and you'll be
Just
in a world of pure imagination.
Eventually we stop. Fritz takes a deep breath and slides his hand out of mine. Fritz?
You can take off the blindfold now, Lucette.
I didn't know why, but my heart is thundering wildly in my chest as I pull the blindfold from my eyes.
Is everybody there? Is it a big party?
I wonder. The first sight that greets me is the most vibrant, lovely thing I've ever beheld. It can't be the margin, because like the margin can't be conjured up anymore. Anyway. Oh! That's gorgeous. The forest is filled with soft white lilies. Everywhere I look, I see them. There's so many, in fact, the petals rain down from the branches, covering me in what feels like delicate snow. And I bet it smells amazing, too. That looks cool. I stare at everything in amazement, and then suddenly my eyes are on Fritz. He's standing in front of me, holding a beautiful lily bouquet. What is all this?
A night I hope you remember.
I certainly will. Fritz hands me the bouquet with a gentle smile.
I wanted to do something like this for a while, only I hadn't summed up the courage to do it until now.
I wonder what it is.
I'm decent with a sword, but I've had to practice things like this.
Things like this? Fritz looks at me with a sheepish smile on his face.
Years ago, when you told me that you loved me, and when I told you that I loved you as well, I was only to say it because you told me first. For the longest time, I was afraid I wouldn't be good enough for you. That I could no longer be your knight in shining armor if I gave up my title.
Aww.
But...
I was just saying...
Now I feel differently.
Did gestures the bouquet. I gaze down at the clump of beautiful flowers and sigh. It's beautiful, Fritz. You've always been good enough for me. I didn't see it at first because of my own stubbornness, but there's no one I would rather have by my side. I touch one of the lilies and pause as a glimmer between the petals catches my eye. Slowly I reach in toward it. Proposal! I knew it! My fingers close around something round and cool, something that makes my fingers prickle with anticipation. What? Before I could say anything else, Fritz is suddenly down on one knee in front of me. He holds one of my hands in his own. Fritz?
Lucette, I don't have the regal upbearing of a prince, and for the longest time I was afraid I could never stand as your equal, but...
Oh, come on, dude. You had a mom as a teacher of foreign languages and your dad was a knight. It's not terrible. He squeezes my hand.
I love you too much to not want to improve myself.
Oh my god. His cheeks are flushed crimson.
Because, Lucette, you're my foundation. You're my past, my present, and I would love you, and I would love for you to be my future.
He kisses my hand. Oh, gosh.
I love you. I have for a very long time, and if you would still like to marry me, as you said 2 years ago, even if I am no longer your knight, I'd very much like to put this ring on your finger.
Yes! Oh my god! I feel tears in the edges of my eyes. I do not reach up to rub them off my cheeks. I do not mind being honest in front of Fritz. I've seen all of his sides, so why should he not see all of mine? Oh my god! Oh! There's so much maturity and... Oh!
I don't care what you say. That is the most attractive thing in a person.
Right?
It's just maturity.
Yes! I did not expect to say that, but yes, oh my god. Oh.
Princess Lucette Riella Brighton, would you do me the honor of allowing me to become your husband?
I collapse to my knees so I can wrap my arms around his neck and bury my head into his shoulder. You're supposed to ask me to do you the honor of becoming your wife. Honestly, I think it's an even better question. Yes, I would be honored. Fritz puts a hand to the small of my back and pulls me closer.
I assure you that I phrased it that way on purpose, my beautiful princess.
Of course he would. He knows the power of words. Ah!
Because of me, my greatest honor of my life will always be being by your side.
Ah!
You have shown me that love can conquer all.
Amor vincit omnia? That's what it is?
Yeah, amor vincit omnia, I think.
Yes. I managed to breathe breathy chuckles. Fritz leans over to take the ring from my hand and slip it onto my finger. It gleams on my finger perfectly like it was meant to be there. Amor vincit omnia! Yes! I remembered it right! Yes!
That's right.
He pulls me toward him, and in the quiet of the clearing, there's just the two of us sharing the warmth of our combined embrace. Does my family know?
Of course. I already told them all about this. His Highness said it was fine, so long as you pretend to be surprised when I make the public announcement.
I can't help but laugh. I think I prefer something more personal like this.
As do I. I always did prefer having you to myself.
He cups his face into my hands. He places a kiss on my forehead, then on my nose, and then lastly, he presses a kiss to my lips. And the kiss is filled with so much hope and longing that I cannot help but become lost in it. When it's over, he presses his forehead to mine.
Thank you for helping me become a better man.
Oh, that's so cute! And thank you for helping me become a better woman. Oh my god. Ah, they're too cute. They're too cute. Ah. Oh, I love you, Fritz.
I love you too, Lisette. Forever and always.
Oh my god. He starts to laugh. As always, laughter is full of so much joy. It lifts my heart. I want to hear it for the rest of my life. And now, I'll be able to. Oh my god! And their love lasted forevermore. Ah! Oh my god. That ending, that did me in. How can I? That almost made me cry. Oh my god. Because they've been through so much. Oh.
And he's just so genuine about everything. You know, he just...
Oh man. Made my hat come off. But then again, you have to take a hat off for a knight. He does not have to have shining armor to be a good knight. Mm-mm. So, for all the knights and soldiers who had to resign, I salute you. But you're probably gonna laugh at this one. We beat Rod at the top spot by 1 point. We got 9 out of 15.
New record!
New record! But yeah, so now we got top with Fritz, 9 out of 15. Then we got Rod, 8 out of 15. Then Chevalier, 7 out of 15. Then dead last with Karma, 6 out of 15. So all we have left is Waltz, and that is happening next week. I just can't believe this is coming to an end. Oh.
But all good things must end so that better ones may start.
True. That is true. As much as I don't want the game to end, we gotta end it at some point. Because in some ways, that's also part of... I just forgot what the finale of Starship Picard was, but... For those who have watched it, you know what I'm talking about. I do not remember the song Blue Skies too well, and also I don't want to get a copyright strike, so I'm not going to do it here. But... and with that was Fritz's ending. Oh man, what an emotional roller coaster. Whew.
I mean, it wasn't as drastic as it could have been, because it's the kind of thing where you know they're gonna end up together. There wasn't any question of that, but
yeah. Still though, like the way it was like more so the way they resolved everything. That was the part that kind of pushed it along, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Whew. So that's number 4. Oh man, what a story indeed. So, in terms of future playthroughs, the finale is happening next Saturday. I know. Gotta end it somehow. Then we've got Barony. We got Barony on Monday in the meantime. And then we've got Dandara Trials of Fear Edition. Both of those are part 4. So we're getting all the parts done here. Then we might do some Oregon Trail. So Stanley Parable, I've been curious about those. And I have decided my first playthrough of January is going to be Sayonara Wild Hearts. I heard it has an amazing score, and it has voice acting with Queen Latifah. It's great. I also found out that Dandara recently got a mobile port for iOS or like iPhone, so that will give me some practice to do in the meantime until we get to the computer playthrough. So that's gonna be fun. Also, speaking of chapters coming to an end, I am closing up my Fiverr shop in April 2022. So I expect a discount come next month, covering the end of an era here. So keep an eye out for that. Does not mean I'm not going to stop doing readings, though. It's just I'm probably not going to be selling it on Fiverr. And also, finally, help Pretty Smart get a second season, or any other good shows get a second season. So go to help.netflix.com/whatever language you have /title request. Type in things you want to request, and hopefully they actually listen and follow through. They have before. I'm sure they could do it again. So here's my social media in case you want to check out all my other stuff outside of this channel. We've got Twitch, we've got Discord, we've got YouTube, we've got other YouTube, we got Twitter, we've got a blog. And finally, as a little bit of an acknowledgement that I've been putting in these videos recently, this episode has been filmed on Nanticoke and Lenape lands. To find out more, check out native-land.ca to find out more information about your local area, especially if you live in North and South America and Australia. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Such a beautiful display of an ending. We will go through one more round of this emotional roller coaster, so I recommend you bring a drink, you bring a blanket, and maybe a box of tissues on top of that. But until then, stay safe, hold your loved ones close, and of course, may your heart be your guiding key. Till next time, everybody, I'll see ya. Bye!